Norm, you signed a letter with 100 other academics, and I should remind people, Norm, you have been sounding this alarm before people would listen on this and what was happening inside the Republican Party and all this stuff. So I do want to put that up top here. Sometimes I don't think you get your due on that front. But let me read from this letter. In future elections, these laws politicizing the administration and certification of elections could enable some state legislatures or partisan election officials to do what they failed to do in 2020, reverse the outcome of a free and fair election. And I guess that's the question is, how do you combat this? Because I don't know if a federal law can combat this.
That's absolutely right, Chuck, and thank you. And I would say it may not even take a close election. Remember that if nobody gets 270 electoral votes on the first go-round, the House of Representatives, voting by states, will decide the outcome of a presidential election. And Republicans, even if they don't win a majority in the House, have a majority of state delegations. So you could imagine states even using a robust victory by a Democrat, say, to throw up a second set of electors to create a smokescreen to throw it to the House. And if we had seen these laws in place in 2020, I am not at all convinced that we would have Joe Biden in the White House right now. We would be in the middle of a crisis. Right. So the reality is that it is almost impossible to create a federal law that obviates this. It's not entirely impossible. Congress does have quite a substantial authority to regulate the time, manner, and place of federal elections, but not state elections. And you could presumably build in all kinds of safeguards to prevent these laws from overturning election results. But if the courts don't intervene and say that this has gone too far, given the ways in which you could intimidate election officials, the ways in which you could at least create a separate slate of electors, and that possibility that even if one of the two houses went to the Republicans in 2022, that they would use that in 2024, it's almost impossible without having a change in the Senate rules that at least overcomes those earlier barriers, and then we'll have to fight it out in trench warfare. This is a bigger threat than I've seen to the country's democracy, at least since the Civil War.